to stop what you're doing and listen.
Hello and welcome to episode 26. I'm Mosh and we got some things to talk about today. So I'm creating a new segment that I'm gonna be calling the rundown. A lot of the times there's, a game gets a new trailer, a release date, beta, new gameplay, whatever it is, and I don't talk about it because I can go over it pretty quickly. And, on the YouTube version of this, I have the topics on the side and we go through those. If I made a topic for every little thing I talked about, it would take me forever to edit the thing. By condensing it down into one little segment, I can talk about more things, but it won't take me longer to edit, if that makes sense. So that's basically what this is. And I like the name of it, calling it the rundown, because it's a rundown of basically what's happened this past week or so. And then the bigger, topics will be their own thing. And always check the timestamps in the description because those will be more detailed. Like every little thing I talk about will be detailed in the timestamps. So always check those out. So first up, word is going around that Cyberpunk 2077 will only be about 80 gigabytes, which seems pretty low because games like Red Dead Redemption 2 are 100, and there are some other games that are actually even more than that. So the fact that it's only around 80 is kind of surprising. I for sure thought it'd be like 100 minimum, but hey, that's fine. And also, you can get a free Cyberpunk 2077 theme on PS4. If you just go into the PlayStation Store and, type in Cyberpunk, you'll probably find it. It's not a dynamic theme, it's a static theme, but it does have music that plays in the background. So, yeah, if you want a free theme with some music, check that out. Next up is Apex Legends Season 2. They released the trailer for it, and it shows like the changes to the map. The creatures that you see around the map are now on the map. The flying creatures are there. The giant creatures with the long legs, like one of them steps down on the map and crushes you, and they're going to be playing a role into the map going forward. It shows some new skins, the player skins, weapon skins. It shows the new gun. It shows the new character. And it starts on July 2nd. Next, we have a collaboration between Sony and Square Enix for a Final Fantasy live-action television series. So a few weeks ago, I talked about how PlayStation was going to start doing TV shows, and the first one was going to be Twisted Metal. Well, you can add Final Fantasy to the list. The iconic, long-running, role-playing video game franchise Final Fantasy is coming to television. Sony Pictures Television, Square Enix, and production company Hive Mind, which produces The Expanse for Amazon and is currently working on Netflix's upcoming The Witcher series, will produce the live-action TV series, which will center on an original story set in the world of Eorzea, first introduced in the online game Final Fantasy XIV. Well, I haven't played 14, so I don't know how to pronounce that. The new show will incorporate characters and elements from across the Final Fantasy franchise, which spans 32 years, 15 numbered entries in the main series, and over 36 individual titles. While specific details about the new TV series plot remain under lock and key, it will explore the struggle between magic and technology in a quest to bring peace to a land in conflict. Final Fantasy hallmarks such as magic, airships, and of course chocobos will all be included in the upcoming series. Familiar faces and names from the series, including a version of Cid, the name of a character in nearly every Final Fantasy project, will make appearances. The Final Fantasy series is marked by its colorful characters, fantastical settings, engrossing plots, and deep gameplay mechanics. Each numbered entry in the series introduces a new cast of heroes and a fresh fantasy world to explore, though particular staples of the franchise pop up in nearly every game. And at the bottom of this is articles from the HollywoodReporter.com. There's no "the" in it. At the very bottom, it says that Ubisoft is developing a TV project for its upcoming Skull and Bones game, which I thought was interesting because Skull and Bones got postponed because, well, who really knows why. So the fact that they're making a TV series for it is, I don't know, it just kind of shocked me, really. But anyway, back to Final Fantasy. The key words here are live action. There's no CG, no CGI, nothing. Like real people acting this stuff out. And they said that familiar faces from the Final Fantasy franchise could show up. That's going to be a little weird to me. So, like Cloud could just show up. Like, there's going to be a dude dressed up as Cloud with his anime looking hair. Who's going to play Chocobos? They going to be CGI? I don't know. I'm very skeptical of this. I mean, if it works, it works, but I don't know. I'd much rather this be a CGI type thing and not live action. Next, we have an update from Rockstar Games about Red Dead Online. We'd like to thank all of our loyal players for continuing to send us their feedback via the official Red Dead Online feedback page, and encourage you to please keep it coming. We've been working on implementing some of the top requested features for the next major Red Dead Online update, including the ability to reset your character's appearance without altering your progress, automatically retaining playing style preferences when transitioning to and from free roam, and much, much more. So that's great because right now you can't change your character's appearance. You create your character at the beginning of online and then that's it. Like you can change their clothing and their hair and facial hair and whatever. But like their eyes, nose, you can't change any of that. If you want to change that, you have to create a new character. And when you create a new character, you obviously have to start over. They're changing that. You can just change your appearance without having to start over, which is great. And also the playing style preferences, they're talking about the offensive and defensive playing style. So offensive is just normal, and defensive is when you're tired of people's shenanigans and you don't want to deal with them. So it makes it harder for them to kill you, like they can't auto lock onto you and all that stuff. When you would join a free roam session, it would default you to offensive, and then you'd have to go in the player menu and switch it to defensive. And then when you came back into free roam, it puts you back into offensive. So whatever you left free roam in going forward, that's what it's going to default you to when you come back into free roam. Because I play on defensive, and there's a lot of times where I would join a free roam session and forget that I need to change it back. But we won't have to worry about that anymore. And they said that this is coming in the next big update, or the next major update. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's the next update. It's just the next major update. So I think that's the key word there, is major. But yeah, those are good changes, and I like that Rockstar's listening. Next up, we have Crash Team Racing. So the big first patch is coming out on July 3rd, the same day as the Grand Prix. Just going over the patch real quick for the Grand Prix. There have been some save data corruption issues on PS4 only during time trials. Like if you do too many or the save gets too big or whatever the issue was, it would corrupt your file and you would lose everything. So they're going to be fixing that in this update. If you play between June 28th and July 4th, at least one race connected to the internet, and you visit the pit stop, you'll be rewarded with 2,500 Wumpa coins for free. It's just their gift to everyone. They are going to be changing the payouts of Wumpa coins. They're going to be adding leaderboards, Nitro Point Online leaderboards, and championship leaderboards. Adding new stuff to the pit stop because of the Grand Prix. User interface improvements, a message of the day will be added. Podium animations, because in single player, when you win a race, it shows the podium. But in online, when you win a race, it doesn't, like the animations and stuff. So they're going to add that in. That's going to take even more time because the time between races is already too much, in my opinion. So this is just going to add to that, which I'm not really a fan of, but whatever. That's pretty much the big stuff, honestly. And they also have a feedback thing, just like Red Dead does. If you go to Activision's support website, there's like a feedback thing that you can fill out. On to the Grand Prix. It's called the Nitro Tour Grand Prix. It's the very first one, and it's from July 3rd until July 28th. You get 5 new characters. So you get Tawna, who is the free character in the Grand Prix. You unlock her in the bronze tier, and if you complete all of the tiers, you get her motorsport outfit. And then in the pit stop, they're adding the Nitro Squad and their motorsport skins. And they were the trophy girls in the original, but now they call them the Nitro Squad. So Tawna's free in the Grand Prix. The Nitro Squad is in the pit stop, so you have to buy them. Also, other skins included are Biker Crash and Biker Tiny, Painter Dingo Dial, and Crash Test Dummy Engine. There's 3 new carts. One will be in the pit stop, and the other 2 are in the Grand Prix. They're adding new paint jobs and stickers, like flag stickers. So, if you're Canadian and you want to put the Canadian flag on your cart, you can. and each flag comes with a matching paint job. And a lot of the stuff in the Grand Prix is just their paints, decals, stickers, stuff like that. They're also adding challenges. So there's going to be quick challenges, daily challenges, weekly challenges, themed and pro challenges. By completing those, it helps you get nitro points. And the more nitro points you get, that's how you unlock more tiers in the Grand Prix. So definitely do challenges. You get a new track, Twilight Tour. And if you are in the top 5%, by the time the Grand Prix ends, you get the champion cart and signature decal. And it kind of looks like a Lamborghini, but yeah, you have to be in the top 5% on the leaderboards to get that. I don't know how hard that's going to be, but I'm going to try for it. And again, this is all free. The Grand Prix is 100% free. It's not some battle pass thing that you have to buy into. It's 100% free. Next up, we have the PlayStation Plus free games for July 2019. Horizon Chase Turbo. Prepare for a blast of pure 90s nostalgia with Horizon Chase Turbo, a love letter to the iconic Just One More Go racers of the arcade's golden age. Drawing inspiration from the likes of Outrun, Top Gear, and Rush, developer Acquire, I don't even know how to say that, captures the essence of the 16-bit era style with modern visuals, a soundtrack with insane arpeggios, a classic split-screen couch multiplayer. I can say arpeggios fine, but Aquarius? Yeah, I'm stumped on that one. Play solo or grab up to 3 friends. You'll pilot your car through extraordinary places, watching the sun setting, facing rain, snow, volcanic ashes, and even severe sandstorms. Sandstorms. There's a word for you. Sandstorms. So yeah, that's a racing game. And then the other free game is Pro Evolution Soccer 2019. And yeah, it's soccer. Moving on. And those go live on July 2nd to August 5th. And the last thing for this week's rundown, Control, I already butchered it. Remedy Entertainment, the developers of Control, have just earned the rights, the publishing right to Alan Wake. So they created Alan Wake, and now they finally have the rights to it. The Finnish company earned 2.5 million euros in royalties, as posted on Global Newswire today. Remedy plans to invest this cash into developing new games. Remedy is currently working on mind-bending action game Control, as well as the story mode for Crossfire X. The company plans to keep making single-player games in the future. In an interview with VG247 earlier this year, Remedy said it was working on Alan Wake 2, but things didn't pan out. Publishing rights for Alan Wake have now reverted to Remedy, so Alan Wake 2 is now a real possibility once again. This game was only on Xbox for consoles, but it was also on PC. So now that they own the rights to it, they said that they're totally open to bringing Alan Wake to PlayStation and Nintendo. Well, they said other platforms, but I mean, if it's on Xbox and PC, the only other platforms are really PlayStation and Nintendo. Or Google Stadia. So yeah, I would not be surprised if we see Alan Wake on PlayStation or Nintendo. And it seems like they don't want people to get too excited about Alan Wake 2 because, like I said, they're working on Control right now and the single player for Crossfire X, so they're kind of busy. So I'm sure they're, down to make Alan Wake 2, but it's probably a good, I don't know, maybe 3 years away. So I don't think they want to get people excited right now because, it's a long wait. Alan Wake in the hands of its rightful owners. And that is it for this week's rundown. But speaking of Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo, Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony are collaborating to warn the US government about China trade tariffs' effects on gaming. Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony have collaborated to warn the United States government about the effect that the recent China trade tariff will have on the production of video game consoles. In a 7-page letter to the Office of the United States Trade Representative, a representative from each of the 3 big console manufacturers put in their word regarding the recent sanctions. Writing to General Counsel Joseph L. Barloon, the document explains in detail the problems that console manufacturers face. The document focuses on not only the harm that the proposed tariffs would have on small and medium-sized software developers across the U.S., but also how it would hinder the future development of technology. In regards to console gaming, The trio notes that the console hardware is highly specialized with complex supply chains. Unlike PCs, each of our consoles has a custom hardware configuration and design and offers unique and differentiating features that run on proprietary software operating systems connected to each company's unique platform and services, the three wrote. Games and services designed for one console must be re-engineered through a labor-intensive process known as porting to operate on another console or on a PC at significant cost to the video game publisher. With companies like Nintendo already pulling out of China for fear of the US's trade sanctions, it's no wonder that both Sony and Microsoft are also worried. The three note that removing their production lines outside of Chinese territories would result in a price hike of 25%, eliminating the appearance of new console hardware from many American homes, therefore harming the income of American countries. So for those that don't know, a tariff is basically a tax. It's a tax on imported and exported goods between countries or sovereign states. Apparently, though, I heard the other day that Trump has kind of eased off of this for the time being. That doesn't mean it's over, though. But I will keep my eyes on this, and if more news comes out, I will obviously talk about it. All right, next up we have Treyarch, Activision, and Black Ops 4. You might remember in an earlier episode of this podcast, I talked about Anthem a lot. Kotaku's Jason Schreier wrote up that article about Anthem, and it was really long, and I read the whole thing, and it took like an hour. Well, he pretty much wrote another article, this time about Treyarch, and it's pretty much just as long. However, I'm not reading the whole thing because Charlie Intel condensed it down for me, and they basically highlighted the important points. So I'll be going over Charlie Intel's article on this. So it says, back in late May, Kotaku's Jason Schreier, when he dropped the bombshell report that Treyarch will be developing Call of Duty 2020, also mentioned he would be releasing a behind-the-scenes report on what happened at Treyarch during the development of Call of Duty Black Ops 4. All right, so on to the highlights. Let's just get to it. QA had to work extensive hours on the game, even told not to party during the game's launch window in order to ensure all aspects were ready for launch. QA testers are being treated as second class in the offices. Basically, while everyone else was celebrating that the game launched, quality assurance testers, QA testers, they weren't allowed to celebrate. They're the ones testing the game and all that, and they just can't celebrate in case something went wrong. And they're basically being treated like they're below everyone else. The contractors working at Treyarch have had to work extensive hours for limited pay and did not receive a share of the game's bonus. That's also not cool. So from what I understand, when you work on a video game, you get paid like a salary. So if you agree to, $100,000 a year, that's what you make. So if you work overtime, you don't get paid extra. Like you're locked in for what you agreed to make. So when companies talk about going into crunch and working all these extra hours, like they don't get paid for that. And that's why it's such a stressful environment. And like video games are cool and all, but working on them might not be the most fun thing in the world. Black Ops 4's campaign mode was canceled in early 2018. Black Ops 4's campaign was to be played alongside a friend. You would pick enemies to battle against and work to take down different enemies as the game progressed. It was almost like a 2v2 campaign. The team was working to get it to Activision for a milestone demo in late 2017, but the mood changed when Treyarch executives shifted direction to cancel the campaign in early 2018. So there was a campaign. Black Ops 4 was originally set to launch in November of 2018, but changed the date to October 12th because of Red Dead Redemption 2's October 26th launch. There's an extensive crunch period for the developers at Treyarch, working long weeks and hours in order to get the game ready for the October launch. Kotaku says the QA testers in Treyarch found out that Black Ops is returning in 2020 as the new Call of Duty game for that year after the Kotaku article dropped, and then a few days later got an email from heads of department confirming the news. Treyarch informed employees late last month that the staff would be taking on a new Black Ops project for 2020 release after a shift in Activision's plans resulted in Sledgehammer Games and Raven Software becoming support studios. A lot of people at Treyarch didn't know they were making next year's Call of Duty until we knew. Like they found out the same time we found out, which is bad. That means next year's Call of Duty is pretty much going to be rushed. Because, I mean, look what they did with Black Ops 4 in 3 years. Canceled the campaign, a lot of stuff just wasn't working at launch, and you're going to tell me that all of a sudden this game gets thrown in their lap, and they're just going to make a perfectly good game that works, has all the features, campaign, all this stuff in a year and a half? A fully functioning game in a year and a half? I don't know. It's probably going to be rushed. I don't like that one bit. That's why I say you should just remaster Black Ops 1 and 2. Forget making a new game. Just remaster the good ones, combo it up, combo pack, bundle, release it. It'll sell millions. You don't have to stress out about it. But that's probably not going to happen, so good luck everyone at Treyarch. Staff at Treyarch received a bonus for Black Ops 4 earlier this year, and many of the higher levels had an extensive bonus to the point that parking lots were filled with Teslas at the offices. Kotaku says that many at Treyarch are just as frustrated with Black Ops 4's microtransactions and are struggling with Activision's decisions to force revenue. So yeah, if there's any debate again on who was making the decisions with these microtransactions, it's Activision. Activision is the boss, big boss man, okay? They own all these Call of Duty developers. So what Activision says goes. And this is what is weird, because Activision also owns Beanox, who created Crash Team Racing. And there's no microtransactions in that game. So it's like, how can you be so microtransaction heavy in one game and then have none in your other game? It's really weird to me. And it's, especially when Call of Duty has the bigger community. Like, you shouldn't be making any of your communities mad. But if you're going to have to make one mad, again, shouldn't make any of them. But it's like, you should really make your big community happy. It maybe make the smaller one mad, but it seems like they flipped it, and the smaller community is happy, and the bigger one is mad. It's just weird. I don't understand anything they're doing. And then Activision issued a response to Kotaku's article. Black Ops 4 represents 3 years of hard work, creativity, and passion from hundreds of talented individuals across Treyarch, Activision Studios, and publishing teams, as well as agency partners around the world. It represents the culmination of a wide variety of development initiatives, the best of which comprise the game that our fans are playing today. The teams who created this game are diverse and widespread. It's important to us that everyone working on the game or any of our projects is treated with respect and that their contributions are appreciated. If there is ever an instance where this standard is not met, we work to remedy it immediately. We constantly strive to provide a rewarding and fun development environment for everyone. Everyone at Treyarch is extremely proud of Black Ops 4. Okay. We love bringing games to life, and we always want to do the best work of our careers. Okay. We realize this is only made possible through the varied perspectives and contributions from every individual working on the team. No one at Treyarch is extremely proud of Black Ops 4. Are you kidding me? We always want to do the best work of our careers? Okay, so just make an entire community angry. Yeah, that's your best work. Again, I don't understand with Activision. I don't understand their thought process. Again, how do you have so many microtransactions in Call of Duty, but in Crash Team Racing you have none? Like, I'm happy CTR doesn't have any, but it's just, I don't know. Treyarch's co-studio heads Mark Gordon and Dan Bunting sent a note to the entire Treyarch team about the article. Kotaku's report detailed extensive mistreatment of the QA team and the contractors who work on Call of Duty titles at Treyarch. Some have worked 12-hour days for a minimum wage, not received bonuses that many other developers at the studio have gotten, and forced to work even during launch parties rather than celebrating. The new email sent to the staff states that they plan to make significant improvements to the work and life balance for the team at Treyarch and ensuring better project planning to avoid major changes to games close to the title's launches. Here's the full email Mark Gordon and Dan Bunting sent to the staff. Today, Kotaku published a story that explores a number of reported behind-the-scenes issues in Black Ops 4's development. The first and most important statement that we want to make to the team is that as managers of the studio, we take the well-being of every single individual working here seriously. We have a vision for the future of the studio that includes significant improvements to work-life balance, and we plan to achieve that through better project planning, streamlined production processes, and rigorous decision-making timelines. It is also our intention to maintain our commitment to increased transparency. Getting there will require time, hard work, and commitment. Most of all, it will require open communication. If you ever feel like your needs aren't being met, please do not hesitate to communicate actively with your manager. No one should ever feel like they don't have options, can't talk openly, or that the only choice is to take their concerns to the public. These conversations should always start with an honest dialogue with your department manager, and if that's not working, feel free to reach out to one of us. Game development is a wildly complex art, and it requires a diverse set of people and skill sets to do it successfully. It's important for all of us to foster a studio culture that treats all team members with respect. We appreciate the contributions made by all parts of the team in the name of the games we make. So yeah, it sounds like working at Treyarch for the Black Ops 4 development wasn't very fun, and the game reflects that. With all this coming out about Treyarch, and then the fact that they basically have to rush to get their next game out, and if it bombs, well, it's not going to bomb because it's Call of Duty, it's still going to sell. But if it just doesn't do well, like with the fans, it's not looking good. Not looking good for Treyarch. It's not fair to them that this game got thrown into their lap with a year and a half to make it. I mean, that's not their fault. You can't really blame them for that. But people are going to blame them for that if the game sucks. You know? Maybe it's karma. I got my eyes on you, Treyarch and Activision. Again, with Activision, it's like you went 1 foot forward, took 2 steps back. 1 foot forward with CTR, 2 steps back with all this new microtransaction crate stuff, cases, whatever you're doing in Black Ops 4 right now. I know Black Ops 4 came out first. Relax. And that's the other thing I don't understand, because it's like no one liked having weapons in supply drops. Nobody. Absolutely no one liked that. We all hated it. And so they stopped doing it. And now they brought it back. And people hate it. It's like they're not learning from their mistakes. They're like, oh, we'll take this away. Maybe people forget about it. They'll just forget about it. And then we'll bring it back. We didn't forget about it. It doesn't make sense. Sometimes I just don't understand how a company that big can just be that stupid. And again, I'll give credit where credit's due. Like Activision being hands off with Crash Team Racing, good. Love it. Them pretty much ruining Call of Duty, don't love it. Like just figure it out. All right, so I wasn't actually going to talk about any of this, but I was thinking about it and I feel like I have a few things to say, so I'm going to talk about it. And that is mental health, suicide, and getting help. So last week, a YouTuber that went by the name of Etika died, and I don't know if they confirmed it a suicide, but I mean, it's all signs pointed to it. So, a lot of people were sad by it, doing tributes. I understand that. He had a very big following. A lot of people loved him. But let's not forget that this happens every day. Like what happened to him is not some special, unique, thing that goes on, rare thing that happens. This happens every single day. People kill themselves every day. People go missing and they're searching for people all of the time. So while I understand people want to pay tribute to him, let's also not forget about these other people that are struggling as well. Like, I wish things would have ended differently. Like, I didn't really know him that much. I did see that final video he made, and I just wish in that video he would have said, I'm taking a break from the internet and I'm going to go get help. Because he was aware he had issues. Like, he full on admitted it. And the fact that he still didn't go get help is just, like, it's crazy to me. And people shouldn't be afraid to get help. Like, getting help is not embarrassing. Help is not a bad word. Getting help doesn't make you any less manly. I don't have the statistics in front of me, but I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that men kill themselves more than women, and men are less likely to get help than women. And I think it comes back to they think that it's not a manly thing to do. Like, I can't go get help. I can't admit that I feel weak or this or that. Not getting help is not manly. Getting help is definitely more manly because you're admitting that something is wrong. You're admitting you don't feel right. You're admitting that you're vulnerable. And that takes guts. So you should never be embarrassed to get help, no matter what your gender is. It doesn't matter. And the internet plays a big factor in all this. Like, just look at communities that people are a part of. Like, whatever community you associate with, that is a representation of you. If you're a positive person, you're around positive communities. If you're negative, you're around negative communities. If you're weird, you're with weird communities. If you're a meme lord that's allergic to the sun, you're with other meme lords that are allergic to the sun. And that's the last community you want to be a part of. That is a bad place to be. I am telling you guys. People that just sit around posting memes on like 4chan or whatever all day, those are not the people you want to be hanging around. People like that want to sit there and, make fun of jocks or whatever because they're jerks. Jocks are out there in the world doing stuff. They're living their life. I'd much rather hang around jocks than those people. And it's okay to post memes. I'm not saying if you post a meme, you're just some loser. You can post memes every now and then. I'm talking about the people that do this like 24/7 and are obsessed with it. Don't be around those people. If you need a positive gaming community, I can point you in the right direction. And that's kind of going back to the etiquette thing, because it seemed like a lot of his community was like they memed a lot. A lot of memes and anime stuff. Again, when you focus on memes and anime, you are pulling yourself away from reality. You're just going so much further into your fantasy world. And that's very unhealthy and it's dangerous. And it's like when he posted that one thing on Twitter, like, when should I have my next breakdown? And someone responded, I'll do it on this day because I'm out of school. Like, the first thing people should have been saying to him is, well, are you okay? What's wrong? Not, oh, do it on this day because I'm going to be free so I can see it. Like, I don't want to bash his whole community, but it's like a lot of people in it are not the best people. And then he goes and dies and they're like, oh man, I loved you so much. And it's just like, no, you didn't. Don't act like you did, because you didn't. You feel guilty. So now you're just trying to find any sort of validation to make yourself feel good. Oh man, I cared about him so much. And I can understand if people didn't believe what he was saying. I didn't believe what he was saying. I'll be 100% honest. I thought the guy just loved attention, because I've seen some of the clips of stuff he's done before, and it seemed like he just wanted attention. So yeah, I assumed that, this was just another thing, and I was wrong. And that's where I need to improve as a human, is to not just, assume things so quickly, or, make judgments that quickly. When people joke around all the time, it's hard to take them seriously. I get that. I think that something like that just happened not too long ago, where a kid was drowning and his mom was right there and she didn't do anything about it because she thought he was joking, but he was like actually in trouble. I joke around a lot too. If something was ever wrong, a lot of people probably wouldn't take me seriously. Like, I get that. But I think that's where we all need to, like, just not assume things. Just don't assume someone's joking if that's their personality. And it's hard to believe people on the internet, because there's a lot of people that will fake depression or suicidal thoughts because they just want attention. And that's disgusting. And that's not fair to the people who actually are crying out for help. We need to be better. Everyone needs to be better. My DMs or Twitter are open. Usually you have to like follow each other and then you can DM each other. No, mine are completely open. If anyone wants to say anything to me, you are free to do so. If you want to take out any sort of anger, I'll be your personal punching bag. I have no issue with that. Pretend I'm a person you don't like, write a paragraph. If you want to go into Discord, we have a Discord server. You want to go into Discord? You want to yell at me? Get some anger out? Let's go. We have locked up rooms in there. That sounded bad. We have locked chat rooms in there, so no one else can join. So it's not a public. Oh my god, never mind. It could be a private conversation. That's what I'm trying to say. It won't be public. But yeah, if you want to yell at me, let some anger out. Let's go. Let me know. I'm not a doctor, therapist, psychiatrist. I ain't none of that. But I'll listen to people. I could try my best. Again, try to find positive communities. It will make you feel better. And do not be afraid to get help. Help is not a bad word. It is not embarrassing. And don't be afraid to get medication if you need it. Again, that's another thing. Like, if I get medication, the people are going to think I'm weak. No one's going to think you're weak. That I can speak from experience. I hate taking medication. If I'm sick in any way, I won't take it. And that's just me being stubborn, because I'm stubborn. But I've seen someone who was depressed and they didn't take medication. They finally gave in, started taking medication, and they feel great. It might take a little while. You might have to experiment a bit with different medications, different dosages, all that stuff. But once you finally find the thing that works, like, you're good to go. This is your life on the line. We are so lucky to even be alive. You were that one cell, that one. We won the lottery just to even be born. Like, we are so incredibly lucky to even be here. Like, let's do something. Let's do something about it. Don't just sit and make memes all day. Find something that's a hobby, or something that's real. Like, everyone is so obsessed with things that aren't real, especially like anime. It's not real. Oh, I wonder what this character would think about. They're not thinking anything. They don't have a consciousness. They can't think. They're not real. You got to go outside. You got to get the sun. Go ride a bike. Riding a bike is very freeing. You can just cruise down the street. Go take a walk. Walks are great. Go play sports. Not saying you have to play on a team. Go to the park, shoot some hoops or something. Follow a sports team. Stuff that's real. There's too much of this fantasy fake stuff. It ruins people's minds. It pulls people from reality. And they don't know what is real and what is not real. Another thing you can do is go to a concert. I love going to concerts. When you go to a concert, you forget everything in the world. Like, you go into a whole different zone, and you could just talk to anyone there. Like, you could start up a conversation with anybody at a concert, and they'll talk to you. They'll be cool with you. I've been to many concerts, never seen a fight, never seen anyone have any issues. Everyone gets along because you're all there for the same reason, except drunk people. You probably don't want to start conversations with the drunk people, but everyone else you're fine with. You could also treat yourself. A lot of people forget to take care of themselves. Go to your favorite restaurant. Go see a movie you've been wanting to see for a while. Take care of yourself. Make yourself happy every now and then. You can do that. It's not selfish. You absolutely are allowed to do that. And I know people have heard it a million times. You are not alone type thing, but it's true. There's over 7 billion people on this planet. You really think you're the only person that feels that way? You ain't even close to being the only person. Many people share what you share. But yeah, I think that's all I really have to say about this for the time being. Again, if you want to contact me, Twitter is the absolute best place. There'll be a link in the description for that. And again, getting help is not a bad thing, and it's not embarrassing. Take care of yourself. All right, moving on to the music talk. Finally, some music stuff. Man, been a while. So, Killswitch Engage released a new song called Unleashed, and they have a new album coming out on August 16th called Atonement. It features a song with Howard Jones. So, the current vocalist is Jesse Leach, who was the original vocalist. So, Jesse was the vocalist, and then he left, and then Howard Jones came in for a few albums, and then he left, and now Jesse has been back for a few albums. They're both going to be on a song together, which is cool. There's no bad blood between the band and Howard. They left on good terms, despite what some people might think. It's all cool, so I'm really excited to hear that song because, yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you be? It's like both eras of Killswitch combined into one, so it's probably going to be super cool. Also, Howard has his own band called Light the Torch, who were formerly known as Devil You Know, but I believe the drummer owned the rights to the name, and then like he left the band or something, so they couldn't continue under that name, so they had to change their name to Light the Torch. So they have 2 albums under Devil You Know, and then 1 album under Light the Torch. The new song kind of sounds like a song that would be on a Times of Grace album. So Times of Grace. Oh, it's like a family tree type thing. So Jesse, the vocalist, and the guitar player, Adam D, have a side project called Times of Grace, and they released 1 album so far, I think back in 2010? It's 2010 or 2011. It's been a while. And it kind of sounds like a song that would be on that album. So, which is a good thing, because I really like Times of Grace. And Adam, the guitarist, confirmed that they're working on a new Times of Grace album. So that's cool. That's good. Also, Adam, the guitar player, he was on The Price is Right a few years ago, and he actually won the whole thing. So I'll put a link to that in the description. You can skip like the first 5 minutes because he's not even in that part. He's a silly guy, and he proves it on the show. It's a good watch. And he's a fashion icon, by the way. Wearing a hat with a cheeseburger on it, a hoodie, shorts, and flip-flops. Yeah, it's a good song. Really enjoy it. Killswitch Engage can be kind of hit and miss for me, but this one, nice. Thumbs up. And also, this is just another album to add to August. Again, August is stacked. Northlane, Bad Omens, Slipknot, Killswitch Engage, and Tool. I haven't done an album review in a little while, but when August comes through, might be one every week. Also, Korn released a new song called You'll Never Find Me from their new album, The Nothing, releasing on September 13th. So this was recorded after the vocalist, Jonathan Davis, his wife died, and that hit him pretty hard because no one saw that coming, because I believe she overdosed. I don't know if it was intentional or unintentional, but anyway, He said it's going to be really dark, and you can kind of hear it in this song. Like, you can hear some of the emotion in his voice. When you start writing an album right after someone, like your wife, dies, I can only imagine what you go through mentally. And he also said in an interview that on past albums, it took him like a week to 2 weeks to record all the vocals. And on this one, it took him 4 months. So he definitely took his time to make sure this was right. Song's really good. I really like it. I think they said this is going to be a more guitar-driven album, but I feel like in some parts of the song, they could use the little slap bass a little bit more, or just made the bass a little louder, because a lot of people know Korn for the bass playing, fieldy, kind of having the slap bass thing going on, but you don't really hear that too much in this song, but there are definitely some parts where it could have been used. So I think they missed an opportunity there, but still a good song regardless. And if I said Slipknot, Korn, and Tool would all be releasing albums basically a month from each other, you would think it'd be the early 2000s. But it's 2019, and that's what they're doing. Well, it's like a month and a few days, but whatever, close enough. And this music talk is then going to lead into my weekly pick, which is a song by Motionless In White called Code. It's from their new album Disguise, which I don't know why I didn't review it, because I actually like it. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't do that, but whatever. And it's a really good song. It's probably one of the more standout songs from the album. It's got a really catchy chorus. It's a really good song. I really enjoy it. And I think that this song kind of fits in with what I was saying about the mental health stuff. Like, I think they can kind of go together a bit. So definitely check it out. I don't think you'd be disappointed, honestly. And that is going to lead into the weird story of the week. And I think it was it yesterday, Canada Day? I don't know why I said yesterday, because I'm recording this on Monday. So that would mean that today was Canada Day, but this comes out on Tuesday. So if I said yesterday, then it would be whatever. I'm looking at you, Canada. That's all I gotta say. You're not off the hook. God, this is hard to read because it's pretty disgusting. Since 1973, the Yukon's downtown hotel has been serving up the legendary sourdough, a whiskey shot garnished with a dehydrated human toe. So, it's a shot of whiskey, and there is a human toe in it. The strange elixir went viral this week when the bar received 3 fresh new toes from former Royal Marine Nick Griffiths, who had them amputated after getting frostbite while competing in the Yukon Arctic Ultramarathon. Jesus Christ. He spotted a want ad posted by the hotel seeking toes and duly provided his. The strange concoction could make daredevil drinkers sick to their stomach and more than mind alone, according to one doctor. This is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life, and I see a lot of disgusting stuff. Dr. Rabia de Ratour, gastroenterologist and assistant professor of medicine at NYU. While the cannibalistic aspect of the sourdough is the most unnerving to de la Tour, it's not the reason she'd expect people to fall ill after drinking it. Oh god, there's a picture. Why did I just see that? What's concerning to me even more is that they're reusing it, so people are having it touch their mouths, she says. They're reusing it. Indeed, the bar's rule for earning a certificate of sourdough consumption is you can drink it fast, you can drink it slow, but your lips have got to touch the toe. Scroll past the picture, hurry up. God, that's gross. Until you test one of these things in a lab, you really don't know what's growing on it. It's possible at least that the booze has sterilizing effect. Whiskey in particular is really good at killing bacteria. It's more acidic than other alcohols. The fact that the toe is mummified also helps stave off neurodegenerative brain diseases called prions, like mad cow, which can prove fatal. Most bacteria and viruses will die if something has been dehydrated and mummified like this. In 2017, a thief stole a toe from the hotel, only to later return it. it wasn't the first time a tow was taken. In 2013, one patron threw back his drink, tow included, and paid up the $500 fine for swallowing it. After that, the hotel increased the fine to $2,500. Glad that's over with. So yeah, that's really gross. And that's where I'm going to end this episode. I want to thank everyone for listening or watching on YouTube is not very fun because it's just pretty much an image with the stuff. But thank you for listening, at least. I appreciate it. Again, links to all the stuff in the description, all of my stuff, Twitter, Twitch, the Discord server, all that stuff's always in the description if you ever need it. And that's going to wrap this up. So I will talk to you guys next week. Later.